And why should you listen to this? Hear this out. All the traits I mentioned and behaviors, they have a multi-study support across clinical, neurobiological, and social psychological research. They directly tie into the mechanisms of emotional disconnect, impulsivity, and moral disengagement that underlie most infidelity cases. These are risk indicators. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed to happen. It means you should just be observing these signs, because unfortunately a lot of people have these signs. Gorilla! It's 7 p.m. Friday. Wait, help, this echo. What the f? Guys, I'm moving apartment. I'm in my apartment right now, and that's why there's an echo, because there's no furniture. Hello? 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 It's 7 p.m. Friday. Okay, whatever guys, we're gonna film this video. Anyway, guess what? It's 7 a.m. in the morning. I woke up, came to my apartment before the movers came, because I'm like, I need to film a YouTube video. We all know the situation that's happening with Liz and Landon. This is not a direct commentary on their situation, because I just feel like that's very disrespectful. I don't really think random people on the internet should be having an opinion on it, because you don't really know what is happening behind the scenes, and you don't know these people. But I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk about the scientific signs based on research that your partner will cheat on you and will fuck you up. Okay, so first of all, I think when everyone found out that she was cheated on, their immediate reaction, besides I feel so bad for her, was fear. If this could happen to her, someone who is the epitome of self-respect, having boundaries, she's beautiful, how could it happen to her? And if it could happen to her, it could happen to me. I think this was the immediate reaction. And Shira 7, all men cheat. I don't really subscribe to that belief either. And when we go into the research, you will see why. It is because most people are wounded. It's true. Wounded partners tend to pick other wounded partners. And those who are wounded with the signs I'll give you are more likely to cheat. And that's where the all men cheat theory comes from. Because if most people are wounded, all men will cheat, all men are wounded. It's about being able to notice the signs and pick the right partners. Granted, of course, like not everybody's going to fit in this, but I think it is so important to be able to recognize these signs so you can remove yourself from the situation. Also, I have a degree in psychology, so if you're new to my channel, why don't you stay around? And also don't forget guys, we're doing a life formula giveaway every single video. All you need to do is leave a comment, and then 24 hours after every video I post, I will announce the winners on my Instagram story. So across all research, the number one sign someone will cheat is actually having low empathy. Low empathy means they're not going to be able to relate to your feelings or even understand them, which means when they cheat, they're less likely to even feel bad for you. So early signs in a relationship of low empathy is if they're ignoring how you feel, especially if you've told them over and over again, you doing this makes me feel bad. If they dismiss your feelings, that all points towards signs of low empathy. What can also come with low empathy and a higher risk of cheating is somebody who has very poor emotional regulation. Poor emotional regulation also links to love bombing. This is why I said I wouldn't be using Liz's situation to be like, oh, if it happened to her, it's gonna happen to me, because she did overlook a lot of warning signs. He was a love bomber. Anyone with emotional regulation and a secure attachment style is not going to be love bombing you. If you're a love bomber, it means you're trying to speed up intimacy, which is actually a sign of cheating in research as well. You're trying to emotionally hook someone, also a sign of cheating. Anyone with emotional regulation as well knows that it takes time to get to know somebody. There is no reason that you should be love bombing or you should be love bombed. So it's a huge warning flag. I think love bombing, sometimes it can be a form of flattery for a girl, or like, oh, he likes me so much. Of course he's doing all this because I am so amazing and wonderful and I deserve it. And you do, but you need to know it's a red flag. Someone can show you all of these things, that they love you and adore you in a different way through consistency. Love bombing never ends well, because if you rise so fast, you're gonna fall just as fast. You need time to build this intimacy. And I know there's gonna be someone in the comments like, me and my husband has been together for like 50 years and we got married in one day. You're the exception. You're the exception. Those with an insecure attachment style, meaning anything but secure, anxious, or avoidant, more likely to cheat. That's gonna hurt some people, given the vast majority of the world is not secure. Even me, I'm a fearful avoidant, which is a mixture of anxious and avoidant. It doesn't mean you or me are innately bad people. It means we will be more inclined to cheat. It doesn't mean we're gonna cheat. That's where emotional regulation comes in therapy. It means we're more inclined to. For example, if an avoidant is feeling like their partner is cuddling them too much, they feel like they don't have freedom, their instinctive reaction is to run. And sometimes, this is actually supported by research, Jungian theory, an avoidant can run to another person to regain a sense of their identity, a sense of independence. An anxious person, if they're not getting what they need from their partner, they may run to someone else for validation because they cannot self-validate. And that is actually what Landon did. He released a screenshot where he said, in a moment of weakness, I went to someone else because I needed to feel respected and adored. I can't remember what he said, but that's very in line with what the research says. He can't self-validate, so he ran to somebody else. Guys, if you have an insecure attachment style, which the majority of you do, you need to get therapy, because just because you have one of these attachment styles, it doesn't mean, oh my God, I'm gonna cheat one day. It is not oh, my partner's an avoidant, he's gonna cheat. It doesn't mean that. It means you need to have emotional intelligence and be able to self-regulate, which is why you need to get therapy. I am the biggest advocate of therapy because you need to get to know yourself, and it's only through getting to know yourself can you then work on yourself properly. Your therapist can help identify patterns within you, come up with coping strategies, and also just analyze how you are. Why are you like this? And when you know why you're like this and you know your triggers, that is where you can fix it. You don't need to heal. In fact, I made a video on healing on my second channel, and I said, some people use healing as a form of escapism. I can't go into the dating market because I'm healing. I can't be friends with you because I'm healing. I don't want to leave my house because I'm healing. And they just delay. Healing is, yes, a process, but it's also a decision in the moment. You heal actively in the field. For example, you and your therapist, you're like, okay, when XYZ thing happens, I react in ABC type of way. When this situation comes up again, you now have a strategy to move differently next time. And that is when you're actively healing. You don't actively heal at home protected with no triggers. You need to get triggered again. So if you're interested in getting started with therapy, why don't you try my paid partner today, BetterHelp. I always advocate for BetterHelp. I used them for 2 years as well, especially during my lowest time last year. BetterHelp is an online therapy service provider, and they are on a mission to make starting therapy a lot easier. It's also more affordable than traditional therapy, more accessible because you don't need to go in person, get a referral, you just go online. And if you can't afford therapy, they have financial aid options available because they're trying to help as many people as possible. It's super easy to get started. All you need to do is fill out a questionnaire and you'll be matched with a therapist that's right for you as soon as possible. Now, if you don't like your therapist, because therapy is like dating, I say in every video, you can change free of charge, which is something you can't do with normal in-person therapy. Like, it's a painful, expensive, long process. So with over 7,000 reviews and a 4.3 star rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform that you can trust. So go use my code right here to get 10% off your first month of therapy with BetterHelp. Someone is also more likely to cheat if they are impulsive, which means they think without acting. And to me, this also correlates with poor emotional regulation. It means, like, if you're angry, for example, you may go crash out on your Instagram stories. You may go and cheat. You may shout at your partner. You might hit them. This all shows as a lack of control. This is why men who are so controlled by their lust, they're weak. It's impossible for a man to not have lust. But that's where control comes in. So if they're impulsive, they don't think a lot, bells should be going off in your head. Another point, dichotomous thinking. Basically, you're seeing things in black or white. If you make a mistake, they're like, oh my God, you're gonna ruin everything for me, I have to go. If they're not happy, they're like, I have to break up with you. They see everything in black and white. They can't rationalize their thought process. They can't see things more clearly, in a more nuanced perspective, more inclined to cheat. Ergo, fuck your life up. Someone who is high sensation seeking, it means they crave novelty, they crave new experiences, or they have a lot of bodies. Some people will hate this, because having a lot of bodies is actually correlated to craving novelty, craving new experiences. Every time you're sleeping with somebody new and you're accumulating more and more sexual partners, you're rewiring your brain to get used to that sensation. And some people, I know you're gonna hate this in the comments, they'll be like, I have a high body count and I'm not gonna be a cheater. Let's say 10 years into your relationship, because it usually changes later on. A history of infidelity. I can't remember the statistic. I think it was like, if someone has cheated before, they are 5 times more likely to cheat later on. This Landon guy had a history of cheating on his exes. That's why I'm like, okay, it's not really a surprise he cheated again. Ergo, you shouldn't be too upset. Oh my God, this is gonna happen to me. Does your partner have a history of cheating? Gaslighting or deflection, also linked to a lack of accountability. Usually partners who do this, they turn blame onto you when confronted, more likely to cheat. By the way, this is all science. You can read it in the description. I'll link all the studies. Unrealistic expectations. I think a lot of men can put this on their partner because they watch pornography. So if they don't have realistic expectations and their partner's not really fulfilling their fantasy or their needs, they have a higher chance of cheating. One thing that also increases someone's chance of cheating is their opportunity of not getting caught. So if someone's taking frequent business trips, they don't have social media, you don't have friends in common, there's really not a way that you can find out they're cheating, they're actually more likely to cheat. Peer group normalization, meaning if their colleagues or their friends or their family members cheat, they are more likely to cheat given that it is normal in their immediate circle. These are risk indicators. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed to happen. It means you should just be observing these signs, because unfortunately a lot of people have these signs because a lot of people are fucked up. The world is a fucked up place. I don't know anyone who does not have some sort of childhood trauma. Unfortunately, a lot of guys just do not go and try to heal their trauma, which is why they should be doing therapy. Get your boyfriends into better help. People who are diagnosed narcissists are more likely to cheat. They're also more likely to love bomb you. They see you as like a game. I really want to get this girl, this person. When they get you, they're bored. They have no empathy as well. They cheat on you. A history of secretive or deceptive behavior, meaning they hide their phone from you. They have told you little white lies, even though they didn't need to lie about something. It's usually a behavioral precursor to cheating. And why should you listen to this? Hear this out. All the traits I mentioned and behaviors, they have a multi-study support across clinical, neurobiological, and social psychological research. They directly tie into the mechanisms of emotional disconnect, impulsivity, and moral disengagement that underlie most infidelity cases. I'm going to tell you some other traits which will link to the main ones we talked about. But remember, a lot of this links back to attachment styles. Go watch my attachment style video. So, fear of abandonment, anxious attachment. If you're rejecting your partner with anxious attachment and they can't self-validate, they have poor emotional regulation, they might go seek this validation from somebody else because they need to feel loved in that moment. They need to feel reassured and complete. And if you're not giving that to them, they will go outsource that if they cannot give it to themselves. People with low self-esteem as well may cheat to validate their own desirability or worth. This is why you often hear women online say, do not date an ugly man, do not date somebody who's insecure as well, because they will ruin you. I agree with this, because if a guy is insecure, or a woman, and you know, maybe you're their first baddie, maybe they felt like they could never bag somebody like you, and they also have low emotional regulation, and suddenly they're seen as more desirable because they're with you and they're getting more attention from other people, they may want to go test the waters because this is new to them. I didn't know I could ever have this experience of being wanted by other people. Let me go explore that. Hypervigilance to rejection. Anxious and avoidance tend to do this. So people who need constant validation from others, also linked to anxious attachment, are more likely to cheat as well. That man who's setting up the camera to record a black and white video of himself smoking a cigar, and he's posting on his Instagram stories 20 times a day, more likely to cheat. Story time, I hope he doesn't see this. There was this guy. He's actually one of the biggest and well-respected creators in the male entrepreneur space now. When I first met him, he was not really famous. He pursued me quite hard for 8 months. said he wasn't dating anyone. But I always knew there was something wrong with him. There was something off. I felt like he posted way too much on social media. He was following so many girls. When I first met him, he was not really famous. He pursued me quite hard for 8 months. Said he wasn't dating anyone. But I always knew there was something wrong with him. There was something off. I felt like he posted way too much on social media. He was following so many girls. I just had this sense that he needed validation. Get this. So, we didn't end up dating. I just sensed something was off. I found out a couple of months ago from one of his friends. Literally when he was in my city, in Dubai, and we were at dinner, he had a whole girlfriend in his hotel room. Hello? 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 I knew it. I knew it. And guess what? His entire brand persona is, oh, I'm just a family man. I just want a loving relationship. Dude, I knew something was off based on the signs. People who have self-sabotage patterns, usually avoidance, are more likely to cheat. These people, if they don't have therapy, they don't even understand themselves. I'm a fearful avoidant. I used to sabotage in my past without even knowing. Obviously now I know, so I don't sabotage, but I feel the urge come up because I'm a fearful avoidant. I feel the urge, let's sabotage this, which is why you have to get to the root of things. I was dating this guy, my karmic. He's the definition of avoidant. They should put him on the cover of a book. They should put him in the DSM-5. Wait, it's not a mental illness. They should write a book about avoidance and put him on the cover. Really, he would self-sabotage everything, and then he'd be like, I don't know why I do this. I'm like, bro, you're sabotaging. You're an avoidant. And he was in denial. I even got him to do the attachment style test, and it's like, dismissive, avoidant. He's like, no, not me, not me. See, denial is a river in Egypt. So insecure individuals may destroy a good relationship before they can be abandoned. Infidelity becomes a form of preemptive rejection. A woman who fears her partner will leave her starts emotionally bonding with a colleague just in case, creating a safety net that eventually leads to an affair. True, a man with low self-esteem constantly seeks praise and attention when his partner becomes emotionally unavailable during a stressful period. He starts texting an ex who flatters him, which is probably what happened in this situation with Liz and Landon. This is really interesting. So a study conducted last year called the Model of Cheating, link below, actually showed that altruistic love, which is more self-sacrificing and boundaryless, surprisingly correlates with a higher chance of cheating versus passionate and friendship-based love has a less likely chance of cheating. People who are extremely rigid in their beliefs, especially when it comes to gender roles, they have very sexist beliefs, are more likely to cheat. I mean, look at Andrew Tate. He thinks men and women are inherently so different, and we are, but and he thinks this in an unequal way. Men and women, we're equal in very, very different ways. This is a whole other video. But he thinks because of that, because I'm the breadwinner, because I'm buying you a Chanel bag, I can beat you up and cheat on you. And guys who have this belief will cheat. Proven by science. Both hostile sexism, which is dominance focused, and benevolent sexism, which is overprotective and patronizing, predicted higher cheating rates in men. Women perceived benevolently sexist men as less likely to cheat, creating a false sense of security. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't be afraid, just be more cautious. Just be more cautious. Don't forget, leave a comment for the life formula. If you want to go into the competition, we will be announcing winners after 24 hours. The video is posted on my Instagram, so go follow me on my Instagram, and I love you guys. See you next time.